What if Katsuki Bakugou was in Demon Slayer? What would the great explosion murder god Dynamite do against Muzan and his demons? Would Bakugou be able to wipe them out? And what would his relationship be like with Tanjiro, someone extremely similar to Izuku? Imagine how Bakugou's explosive temper would change the story of Demon Slayer. Before we see that, we need to know how Bakugou ended up in the Demon Slayer universe. Look, before the final war against the villains Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugou were capturing villains who had escaped from prison. When a powerful villain who had a dimensional quirk hits Bakugou with his power and sends him through dimensions, making him fall amidst lightning and thunder during Zenitsu's battle against the spider demons, shocking the warriors. Bakugou, extremely stressed, is surrounded by spider demons who are blown up. This makes Zenitsu think that Bakugou could be a demon, but also a hunter who was fighting alongside the course with explosive techniques, just like Tengen Uzui does. Soon flying towards the spider demon who commanded the lesser spiders, Bakugou is caught off guard by the demon's poisonous jet. However, with his quirk, Bakugou manages to change his flight path, getting close enough to blow up the demon, helping Zenitsu get rid of the spiders. However, since Bakugou is a hero, imagining that he's dealing with a villain, he wouldn't use all his power against his enemy. After all, heroes don't kill. That's exactly why the spider would regenerate to attack him again while he was off guard. Aware of the Oni's regeneration, Zenitsu steps in front of Bakugou to protect him, getting hit by the spider's venom. This would make Bakugou extremely furious since someone is protecting him. Zenitsu tells Bakugou that he must exterminate the spider as soon as possible, because as long as she is there, the Oni is protected. Unlike Deku, Bakugou is a hero who often prefers to resort to violence and isn't afraid to cross the line if necessary. And in that situation, it was kill or be killed. Bakugou quickly uses his powerful quirk to wipe out the spider Oni, blowing it up completely and disintegrating every cell of the Oni. Bakugou carries Zenitsu, weakened by the Oni's poison, on his back and flies towards someone Bakugou is protecting. He is surprised by the attacks of Shinobu, the insect Hashira, who was together with Kanao, her pupil. Shinobu, upon seeing Bakugou's abilities as he flew with Zenitsu on his back, thinks he is an Oni. After all, only Onis have powers. Zenitsu tries to explain to both Demon Slayers that since he saw Bakugou fighting against an Oni, he is not one. However, he can't speak because of the poison. However, he can't speak to Shinobu, and the Hashira attacks the hero, who is forced to defend himself. But does Bakugou have enough skills to defend himself against the insane attacks of a Hashira? Notice that throughout the anime, Bakugou is always breaking barriers that limit his growth. Since the Aiwei tournament, he's been dodging projectiles and explosions. Fast enough to create the impression of leaving a shadow behind, moving too fast for the eye to follow. Even though Shinobu is incredibly fast, she doesn't stand a chance of getting close to the hero, precisely because of his explosion quirk that keeps her away. Bakugou wants to teach Shinobu a lesson, so she doesn't go around attacking heroes without reason, until Zenitsu finally manages to say that Bakugou is a human. Then he ends up fainting. Shinobu and Kanao hold themselves back, finally listening to Bakugou, who doesn't understand what's going on. Where is he? Who are they? And who are the creatures surrounding them on the mountain? Shinobu tries to understand Bakugou's questions and soon answers, making him realize that his enemy's quirk threw him into another reality and another time. When he explains to Shinobu and asks for her help so he can return to his universe, the insect Hashira plans to take him straight to Kagaya, Ubu, and Ashiki. After all, she feels that the course of the story is about to change, but first they need to deal with the mountain Onis. When they arrive at Tanjiro and Nezuko, after Rui's defeat, Kanao chases Nezuko, while Bakugou deals with the rest of the Onis that were surrounding the mountain. Arriving at Ubu and Ashiki, the Hashira meeting turns into chaos with the presence of Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Bakugou. While Sanemi does everything to prove that Onis are evil, Tanjiro begs him not to hurt his sister as he drives the sword into Nezuko. This enrages Bakugou, who jumps straight at Sanemi, even before Tanjiro headbutts him. Bakugou is a hero, he can't stand to see someone suffering. When he says that in his universe he is a hero, Ubu Ashiki laughs, saying that maybe their prayers have been answered. Bakugou might be the one who will change the course of the battle against Muzan and his demons. After all, maybe the key for Bakugou to return to his friends is with Muzan, the king of demons, who holds knowledge of all existing demons. So someone with a unique power might be able to send Bakugou back to Aiwei. Boarding the Infinity Train with Tanjiro and the others, the hunter thanks Bakugou for the gesture of kindness and protection he showed to protect his sister. But Bakugou just says that's what a hero does. Tanjiro's kindness reminds him of Zuko Midoriya, something that makes Bakugou want to get closer to Tanjiro. When Enmu's distraction demons appear, before the hunters and the great explosion murder god Dynamite can do anything, Rengoku quickly takes care of the demons. This impresses Bakugou since Rengoku is on a different level from Shinobu and his powerful flames remind him of Endeavor, the current #1 hero. As soon as Enmu puts the hunters to sleep, the demon merges with the train, attacking the passengers. When Bakugou and the hunters wake up, Rengoku orders him, along with Tanjiro and Inosuke, to look for Enmu. After all, Bakugou's explosions could injure the passengers during the fight. When they reach the Oni, Bakugou's explosions and Inosuke's slashes give Tanjiro an opening against Enmu, allowing him to defeat the Oni. When the train derails, Akaza, the Upper Moon 3, appears. During the battle between Rengoku and Akaza, Bakugou is extremely impressed. That awakens an insane desire to fight within him. But will Bakugou be able to save Rengoku from his imminent death? Before I tell you, I need your help to reach 200,000 subscribers, so help me by subscribing to Cultura dos Otakus and turn on the notification bell. Oh, and take this moment to like the video, that also helps me a lot. Look, Bakugou enters the battle, making a huge explosion against Akaza. Who gets curious to know who this young man is, introducing himself as the great explosion murder god Dynamite, the one who will become the #1 hero. Akaza laughs and offers him immortality, saying that in this universe he is something special, someone who was born with powers, someone who doesn't deserve to join the weak. Bakugou would laugh back and mock Akaza, saying that the strong were born to protect the weak. Those words would ignite a flame in Rengoku, who would ask the hero to join him in battle. Together, they form an extremely powerful duo against the Oni. But the house pushes its abilities to the limit, showing tremendous power. It hits Bakugou several times, but he endures and keeps attacking. Every time the house opens its mouth, Bakugou gets angrier, and his explosions cause even more damage, growing stronger as his emotions intensify. Thanks to Akaza's hypersonic speed, he manages to escape from the vast majority of Bakugou's explosions. And because he's an Upper Moon, his extremely fast regeneration prevents Bakugou from being able to hit him in succession. When the sun rises, Bakugou and Rengoku are tired from the battle and Akaza manages to escape. But thanks to the great explosion murder god Dynamite, Rengoku survives this crossroads. Later in the Hunter's Corps, Bakugou gets frustrated that he wasn't able to stop Akaza. But when he sees Uzui kidnapping the girls who work for Shinobu, he quickly stops him along with Tanjiro, who was passing by. The Hashira shows interest in the young men and takes them to the entertainment district. Obviously, Uzui wouldn't miss the chance to dress up Bakugou, making him pass as a woman, which would make him really angry. But how did Uzui manage to do this? Well, by telling the hero that it's for a good cause. When they finally locate Daki and decapitate her, Gyutaro appears and notice that both demons can only be exterminated if they are decapitated at the same time, which increases the difficulty for the hunters in this battle. Gyutaro, with his powerful blood attacks, begins to destroy the entire district in his battle against the hunters. Bakugou, on the other hand, makes sure to evacuate all the civilians from the area. And remember that even though Bakugou hates this kind of work, it was something he learned at the Hero Academy to save and protect the innocent. When Zui was about to lose his arm to Gyutaro's insane attacks, Bakugou arrived, causing a powerful explosion with his Hot Swizer impact technique, obliterating Daki, who was holding one of Zui's wives hostage. That explosion, which was about to destroy Daki, catches Gyutaro's attention. Seeing his sister's body consumed by flames thanks to the hero's powerful attack, which explodes every piece of the Oni, purging every cell from her body. The hunters join forces against Gyutaro to decapitate him, and the one who does it is Tengen Zui. Thanks to Bakugou, a lot changes in this story. Tanjiro doesn't damage his sword in a direct fight against Gyutaro, so he wouldn't go to the swordsmith village to get a new one, which would be terrible. Besides not awakening the Slayer mark to decapitate Upper Moon 6, this event would cause Mitsuri Muchiro not to awaken his marks, not being able to defeat the Upper Moons. Because of this, the two Hashiras die during the invasion of the swordsmith village, and it is completely annihilated by Muzan's servants. But look, because of the minor injuries she had, Zui would remain in the Demon Slayer Corps, and thanks to Bakugou's presence, Rengoku is alive and fighting against the demons. However, Muzan is one step away from eliminating the Demon Slayers, since the Corps can't recruit new Slayers without the blacksmiths. They make the Nichiren swords to exterminate the demons, so Muzan would decide to invade the Corps to put an end to the Demon Slayers. They whittle down his army every day, or should I say every night. Bayashiki senses the danger, and the chaos leads to the Hashira training. Bakugou also joins the training, managing to master the basics of breathing techniques, so that he can upgrade his techniques. Unfortunately, Tamayo isn't able to create an antidote for Nezuko during this time, since she hasn't awakened her full potential yet, even though she survived sunlight in the swordsmith village. This would also make it harder for Tamayo to create a poison effective enough to weaken more than half of Muzan's strength, because the principle behind the poison was a cure for the demons, something that would also make Muzan age drastically, slowing his movements and reducing his strength. But look, when Muzan invades the organization and Buyashiki sacrifices himself to give Tamayo an opening so she can poison the King of Demons, he sends everyone to the Infinity Castle. This time the odds for the Hunters are not good at all. The organization has lost two powerful members, and he has almost all the Upper Moons in their positions, while the Hunters are weaker than in the original timeline, unable to awaken the Slayer mark. So, will our heroes have a chance at victory with Bakugou present? Well, that's what we'll see. And if you want to become a hero, be my hero by liking the video and subscribing to Cultura dos Otakus with the notification bell on. Help me reach the goal of 200,000 subscribers, and don't forget to hype up the video by swiping the comment section to the side and tapping on hype. It really helps me a lot. Thank you. Watch. Bakugo, Tanjiro, and Rengoku come face to face with the Upper Moon 3 having a rematch against the Oni. Thanks to their training, they are able to fight the Oni at their best. This gives Bakugo an opening to channel all his explosion into a single attack, turning the Oni into dust. They move forward in the castle. Bakugou wouldn't hold back and would blow up everything in his path looking for Muzan, separating from Rengoku and Tanjiro, who don't have abilities like Bakugou's. He moves while spreading destruction throughout the infinite castle. Tanjiro and Rengoku come across Gyu fighting against Zohakuden, the fourth Upper Moon. In this battle, Tanjiro is forced to awaken his Slayer mark, something that is essential to win this fight easily. Bakugou, on the other hand, comes across Gyu and fights face to face against the Oni. Gyu's ability to teleport from vase to vase enrages Bakugou. However, we must remember that he is unpredictable, and he is also a great strategist when it comes to battle. Precisely because of this, Bakugou uses a massive wide area blast that destroys Gyu's vases, forcing him to enter his fish form, allowing Bakugou to hold him with his hands and finally blow him up. Meanwhile, Duma's battle against the Hunters happens the same way as in the original timeline. Zui joins Gyume and Sanemi in the fight against Kokushibo. The Upper Moon won. This is a major improvement. Since Zui is the strongest Hashira follower, we should remember that, not having the cure in hand, Nezuko is in the castle fighting, and thanks to her efforts and open eyes, they exterminate Nakimi together and bring down the Infinity Castle, coming face to face with Muzan, the King of Demons. There's no way out for Bakugou. He joins the Hunters to hold Muzan off until sunrise. Since he can't get close to Muzan, the Hashiras awaken their marks in this final battle, and many deaths happen until sunrise. Bakugou is extremely tired and his explosions are weakened because of his sweat. After all, his quirk depends on it. That's exactly why he decides to watch and wait for an opening, to use his last strength at the decisive moment that will come up in the battle for Tanjiro, who awakens the transparent world and the shining red weapon. Thanks to the Kikijutsu of his sister Nezuko, who fuses her blood into his sword, the Hunter's strikes create an opening for Bakugou to get closer. Bakugou reaches Muzan and with his explosive mobility takes him into the sky, sending him flying with a huge explosion, making the King of Demons reach the sunlight and disintegrate. The battle is finally over, with all the demons being purged, including Nezuko, unfortunately, because she couldn't be cured. But fortunately, humanity achieved the long-awaited victory against the demons. After Deku and Todoroki defeated a villain, Bakugou returns to Yurei, and he will definitely be missed. But you don't have to miss him, because I picked out this video here with another character that I'm sure you'll love to watch. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in this video here, Otaku.